Okay, well, I think on this side they're just going to await the imperialist advance. This artillery is now in range, can do something. These infantry, it's a bit of a blow them being green, but I think they're going to move forward and engage these in combat, see if they can get rid of them. Things went quite well there, really, all things considered. Having the commander there now helps a little bit. So I think we'll move these infantry through the woods to get them to join the action. But meanwhile, I think it's time for these guys to attack and see if they can maybe do some damage. So let's start with the easy ones. So this is just going to move forward. It only needs to move forward a little bit to get into musket range. So it's now within musket range. Yes, good. That doesn't need to move at all. This needs to go through the forest. So forest is bad going, which means it goes at half speed. So they just go like that, half a base width, like so. Okay. But I think the commander is going to spend a pip to give them a second move, but this is a second move, so it's an action test. So they roll and they fail, but he has got 2 pips. So the second action test, he tries again, they succeed, so they go another base width into the wood. It's going to be quite slow in that wood. Okay, meanwhile, here, this cavalry is going to charge here. With the cavalry, so that it just needs to contact them, and then they will then adjust to that. So they are in contact range, so they will then adjust to this. So if you're charging frontally, that's an action test, standard action test, and you fail on a 1 and 2. So these are going to try and move forward and contact them, and they will fail on a 1 or 2. So they roll the dice. They've scored a 3, so they move forward like so and touch like so. Because it's cavalry attacking cavalry, the assumption is that these cavalry will have countercharged at the last minute, so they conform to that unit, and also any supports conform to that as well. So we will end up like so. Okay, so you can see that these contacted and they've conformed to them. So that means that we have quite a few action tests, morale tests to take now. So this gun is going to pick on I suppose the Allied artillery there. This gun is carrying on shooting here. This gun has no target. That unit is going to shoot here. That's going to shoot there. They're at range, and we have this melee here. So to the morale test. On this side, the bombardment here, all that does is it forces that unit to take an action test if it wants to move. But here we do have a morale test. So the Grenzers go in this village, so they get +1 for being in the village. They get another +1 for having rear support, but they get a -1 for being shot by artillery. Also, the artillery is from the flank, so that's another -1. So they got a total of +1 for the village, +1 for the support, but -1 for being shot by artillery, and -1 being shot in the flank. So that's straight dice roll. That unit is a trained C unit, so we need to roll to see what quality it is, which is a 6, it's elite, and 1, it's raw. So they rolled 5, it's just trained. So it's a straight dice roll for their morale. They rolled 3. Now, unfortunately, the commander could go and get them to retake their test, but he's too far away. He's a very long way away. So they got 3, which is dead, and they are automatically eliminated from the game. Ooh, that was nasty. Here in the forest, the firefight continues. So here the Austrian unit is trained. If you remember last time, it rolled for it to be trained, and it gets +1 for rear support, but it gets a -1 for being small. So it's a straight dice roll, and remember this is a rapid fire Prussian unit, so they can get the unit to re-roll 1 dice if it wants to. So they roll 2 dice, and they roll 6. Again, I don't think there's much point in re-rolling because they're not going to get much better, and the Prussians not going to get much better result than that. Even if they roll and get a 4, that will be still, the unit is still alive. But if the Austrian player re-rolls and gets a 6, that's going to be no hits. So that will take another hit, which takes it down to red. Red means it's got 1 morale hit left. Okay, so this Austrian unit has been reduced to a red dice, which means it only has 1 life left. But meanwhile, we need to do the cavalry fight over here. Cavalry units are rated for their ferocity or their ability to charge, and also for their ability to mix things up. So a unit might be rated as perhaps having a ferocious charge, which gives a -2 modifier, but might count as light cavalry in any ongoing melee, as in they are effectively hussars or something, and therefore be at a disadvantage if fighting against heavy cavalry. So these are dragoons, and this is a mixed unit of Austrian dragoons and hussars. So this counts as a standard -1 charge factor, and then it gives another -1 because of the support, the open flank here from the support from this unit. So that's -2. The Austrians get +1 for rear support from this unit. So a grand total of -1 overall. So they roll the dice and they get 7. So 7 -1 is 6. That's take a hit. So they receive a red marker. I'll put that on in a second. And cavalry, which take a hit in contact, withdraw from action. If there is support behind them, what they will do is they will fall back behind the support and then rally behind them like so, which is what they'll do in this case, because obviously they have the support here. If they don't have support, then what they do is, so if you imagine that this unit here was not there, they would move back this distance to here, to there, to that kind of position, and would remain facing away from the enemy. So effectively what this is saying is, if you're fighting a cavalry melee, then you always need to have support, otherwise you can get into a lot of trouble. So that unit has been defeated. It's lost 1 of its 2 lives. Remember, cavalry only have 2 lives. I'll put a red marker on in a second after I finish filming this. But we now need to see if the Prussian unit will pursue. Pursuit in this, in the Twilight series of rules, is not a good thing. This is uncontrolled pursuit in a mess, and will generally get you into trouble. So you want to avoid it if you possibly can. And essentially what you need to do to avoid it is roll low. I won't go through the factors for you now, but essentially we'll just roll dice and see what they get, and if they roll low, then we will just, okay, so they rolled and they got a 1, they don't pursue. If they pursued, they would have gone to here, like this, and would have taken a disadvantageous morale check themselves in the subsequent turn. But as it is, they stay where they are. They probably have pursued a little bit, but they basically pursued like this and then rallied and kind of sorted themselves out more or less in the same place that they are. So a fairly good Prussian turn. First blow to them. Things are looking good with damage and things. So let's see what the Austrians can do about this.